Hi, Cancer. Hey, so this is the February 2025 lineup. I will only be discussing major themes, not all these aspects here. And don't worry if you're hearing this later than these dates, even if you hear it next month. This is a major transit, but it's an overarching theme that's important. But I will go over some of these aspects. So go ahead and take a screenshot so you can compare it to your natal chart to see if any of these degrees match anything in your natal chart. And yeah, I'll be going through only the major ones. Um, and it worked out well this month that it's really about the major theme and major aspects. So even if what I mean by the major aspects, major theme is like, for example, whatever this Neptune conjunct North Node. It doesn't mean that on that hour, on that minute. It's a major aspect where it'll reverberate throughout time. And also, I still, I know I'm going to do my complaints. I do work full time, and I'm going through huge changes myself. So I'm trying to get my schedule all right so I can serve you guys better. So bear with me, and let's just jump straight into what it's all about. Let me just change the screen. Okay, Cancer. So, um, the month of February this year is very important, as it is dominated by Pisces weather. Um, and you might say, every year February is dominated by Pisces weather. And yes, that's true. But this year it's significant because it sets the theme for the year almost. Meaning we have Neptune and Saturn that will be exiting Pisces after 14 long years. Saturn has been here about 2.5 years. So it's going to be a huge shift. Um, um, some kind of there's a karmic situation that'll come in, a new opportunity, but another karmic ending as well. Um, so this month is really like a precursor, a prelude, a movie trailer, if you will, for how Neptune will end its journey in Pisces. And it's also important because they do retrograde back into Pisces at the end of the year. So, the Pisces for you, well, let's establish that first. Pisces for you is your ninth house of the mind, philosophy, your philosophy on life. It's, of course, higher education, long distance travel, foreign people, people at a distance that may, still speak the same language as you, but they're at a distance from you. Um, Foreign lands, publishing, and the World Wide Web. Definitely higher education. And many Cancerians are either in the teaching field or you've been students and you're just about to finish your higher education. So, Pisces for you as well. Well, natally, Pisces rules the 12th house of behind the scenes, of secrets, of the past, of your spirituality and faith is huge here, as well as any confining spaces or even taking care of someone. So that has been also in the mix for you for the past 12 years. But and for you, even though Neptune is the god of small g, of illusion and deceit and just buffering harsh realities, giving us rose-colored glasses to look through. Um, for you can imagine for some um, it could prove to be a challenge. But for you, actually, Pisces has Neptune has it hasn't been such an illusionary journey for you. Pisces is a water sign, just as you are, so it hasn't really hit you that hard. It's been almost like a vacation for you, very dreamy sort of reality. But mostly, it's about um, what you believe in, what you want, um, what you yearned for, something in that capacity. And well, the last 2 years when Saturn came in, uh, there were some obstacles and challenges and restrictions regarding this house for you. It could have been, maybe something again with higher education or traveling, something like that. Maybe you started seeing more restrictions with that, and that was basically to build a foundation, a strong foundation. So it could, I mean, be as mundane as you wanted to travel more, but maybe your finances wasn't, you couldn't afford it, and before you could, or it could be just something like that, like insignificant, but it still proved to be a challenge. Or it could have been that you were ready to graduate, but you found out that you had to take some more classes, and those classes weren't available, and you had to put it off for a semester or two. Just mundane examples like that, but it could have been a lot different. Now, Cancer, is the sign natally, is the sign of home, hearth, and security, and also Cancer is very sensitive, so it doesn't really like being out there in the world. I mean, yes, you have friends, you go out, it's you enjoy that very much so, but your essence is really to be around loved ones and in the home rather than being out there, being seen. Um, you don't like to be too far away from the home. So Neptune has been trying to get you out there because you have this knowledge, you have this philosophy on life, and you've been fine tuning it maybe through education. And you need to be seen. You need to be out there and send your message out there. So um, that's what Neptune's purpose was: is to numb you to that maybe fear of being seen or taking center stage. Okay. And this is going to affect your career a lot as well. You are going to get into this career that is about teaching. It could be about spirituality. I mean, you can literally go into like a clergy, or something within with a church, or whatever your faith is, or it could be in in a higher education realm. Um, but there's also maybe teaching abroad. Yes, something about being away and teaching abroad and being out there in the world. There's that theme for you. Now, since Saturn and Neptune will also leave Pisces and go into Aries in the middle of the year, um, that's why I'm saying your career is lit up here. It can, well, Neptune, oddly enough, Pisces, there is something to do with money. So your career can be in maybe like the banking industry, for example. But your position would be something of a nurturing position, a caring position. So you might maybe let's for example take the police department. They have like you know counseling sessions or therapists on board or whatever, um, or a psychologist. So you might be in that position, um, but definitely you're definitely going to be more seen, more out there, um, more accessible. Um, yeah, you're going out of your comfort zone. Now, the other thing that's happening that's pretty important, and like I mentioned in the intro, I'm not going to go over each and every aspect. I'm only going to mention the major aspects, the really important ones, which will be Pisces. I mean, I'll touch on some other things that are important, but just a major aspect. So, for example, this is now on the fifth, the sixth you're hearing this. It doesn't matter that I'm going to talk about an aspect on the 1st of February and you didn't hear it or whatever. These aspects are powerful. So they'll reverberate through time. You'll feel them even after, because these aspects, it's not about that hour, that minute that you have to hear it. Okay. So, right in the beginning of the month, we did have Venus conjunct Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. Now, the nodes recently changed signs from Libra and Aries, and they went into Pisces and Virgo. And the nodes work with the outer planets. Remember, the outer planets are the ones that affect significant change. The inner planets are really the stage that the outer planets set up. And the nodes work with the outer planets um, with major endings and major beginnings. So if you have a full moon, yes, it could be an ending of something, but it can also be a fruition of your past efforts. The nodes are different in the way that the full moon would be a total lunar eclipse or a partial lunar eclipse, whatever it is. But it is much more powerful than a full moon. It eclipses something out of your life that is preparing that spot, so to speak, for a major new beginning. So what I mean is we don't have really um, maneuver room to avoid an ending. It's quite powerful, and it will eclipse it whether we like it or not. Again, it's eclipsing dead wood, though. It's eclipsing something that is not to your benefit any longer. And the nodes are also karmic in nature. So it's about 18, 19 years ago that whatever happened here um, regarding Pisces and Virgo, because the South Node is in Virgo, will is you're either being owed or you owe that karma. It works something like that. So, for example, the North Node now is in Pisces. So that is, again, your ninth house of higher education and foreigners. It'll be someone karmic that will open the door for you in this aspect, in this house. It might be somebody from the past. um, but usually it's somebody new, and that person might be familiar to you, in the sense again like it's karma. So just to get a clue of what it might be about, what these eclipses might eclipse things out of your life. For example, for Pisces, if you think back to mid-September last year, we did have a partial lunar eclipse. So there was an abrupt half ending, if there's such a thing. Um, um, since it was a partial lunar eclipse, yeah, something ended, or seemed to end, uh, regarding your, ninth house of foreign travelers, or higher education, maybe even publishing. Maybe you were just about to finish something up, but you had to go back to the drawing board. Now, with even with that partial lunar eclipse, even with that partial ending, there was a dual choice, like a dual option. Like, okay, if it's not an if you can't do that, let's do this. I mean, there was, yeah, something of a dual option. So, but in the future, we will have a total lunar eclipse, and I'm just trying to let you know. If you don't know what it might be about, just think back to mid-September. Now, here in the month of February, Venus brings love, money, fortune, and fame, and she is beautifying this house for you. You might be gaining money, um, in the ninth house in some area. Maybe you're a public speaker, and it's conjoining the North Node in Pisces. So you are aware of, or an opportunity is being presented to you regarding the ninth house. Okay. Um, just looking over my notes, Cancer. Sorry about that. All right. Because I don't want to miss anything. Now, on the third, what we had was Mercury in Aquarius trine Jupiter in Gemini. Aquarius for you is your eighth house of joint finances, inheritance, government benefits, taxes, the taboo, intimacy, and all that good stuff. It also covers the past, and somewhat in being alone, wanting some alone time. Um, and Aquarius natally rules the house of friends and groups. Um, and then, of course, Gemini is in your 12th house of behind the scenes, secrets. Um, and I mentioned everything that involves here. Now, this is a nice aspect. It's a trine, so you might have not even felt it. But um, what it was discussion, agreements, contracts regarding something about eighth house of intimacy and joint finances, and something about the past. Or you might be working really hard on something behind the scenes, but it's it's working out somehow to your benefit, but you're holding it close to the chest. Something you're holding very close to the chest here. All right. Now, February 4th, which was just yesterday, Venus enters Aries. So Venus left Pisces and enters Aries. And this is important. So pay close attention to this transit of Venus in Aries, because this is a prelude to what you'll experience with Neptune and Saturn going into Aries. And Aries for you is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, authority figures. Um, and you did have an ending here last October. Something about your career, your status, um, something ended here, or an authority figure might have been eclipsed out. Um, which again sits well, because now that Venus is entering, it's going to be bringing some money, maybe an opportunity, maybe it could be a romance to this area of your life. Um, but again, pay attention to it, because Neptune and Saturn will be doing will be entering Aries, and you will experience it full on starting in March, April. Now, the other thing to be aware of is Venus is doing a retrograde this year. It usually doesn't retrograde, but this year it is going to do this retrograde. So we're already in shadow retrograde. And you might say, well, Venus just entered Aries. How can it be in shadow retrograde? Because it's going to go um, into Aries and then stop and retrograde back, but it won't stop until it backs up all the way into Pisces. Okay, so and then it'll turn direct again. So we're already at shadow retrograde, because it's going to go all the way back into Pisces. And there's something there. Whenever big planets like this, serious planets like this, like Mars, do retrogrades, it's significant. There's something there that needs your complete attention. Something significant. It's not like Mercury retrograde, where oops, I forgot to say this, or I lost this, I lost my keys. Um, Venus is a serious planet. And also, it is true, yes, when Venus does retrograde, it does bring somebody back from the past. So this is all sitting well. Like I told you, it's not these small aspects or whatever. It's a whole theme. They're all working together because it sits well with this karmic thing that'll be coming into Pisces. And for you, like I said, it's your ninth house. So your career, your status is very much linked to Neptune's travel. And you may be getting into a field, like I mentioned with the spirituality thing, but um, Cancerians are known, like I said, to be in the teaching industry. So you might be ending up in that capacity. But uh, for many of you as well, um, there's it's a Neptune um, oriented career. So Neptune rules um, the music industry, the movie industry. He rules the oil industry. And now that Trump is back in, he's deregulating everything, and there's going to be a lot of jobs in the oil industry. Um, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be on a oil rig. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of opportunities, different opportunities. He rules the like perfumes, alcohol, drugs. Um, so me and yours is coming up like liquids, water. There's something about water. I don't know. Maybe you'll be some type of a maybe surveyor. Um, I don't know. Cancer. Maybe like maybe there's going to be a dam project, and that has to do with water, containing water, or redistributing water. Um, Maybe in marine conservation. Um, it can be so many things, even if it's like the music industry. I mean, not everyone's going to be, but there are millions of Cancerians with 1,000 different scenarios. So maybe you might be going into something like that because that's like flowing. Music is flowing. It's not like stop and start. It's flowing. Just yeah, think of something liquid. If you're not going into the spiritual realm of that, and as I mentioned, if I didn't, um, money, finance, the world of finance. Yeah, but in a capacity where it's you're nurturing or you're teaching something or training, maybe a specific group. Um, but it's for how can I say it, like yeah, like a healing kind of training or counseling. All right, let's move on now. I'm getting sidetracked again. Um, so when Venus enters Aries, just look for really nice opportunities regarding your career, and it could be. And I also wanted to mention this. It could be like maybe the person interviewing you or your potential boss might be somewhat of a firebrand individual, uh, because Aries is a fire sign. So there's something about fire and excuse me, urgency, or something maybe about the image. Maybe you are going into the cosmetics industry because that's also ruled by Neptune. And Aries is it rules the first house of self and image. All right. But if it is a romance here that started for you single Cancerians, this kind of romance is passion and intensity because it's Aries, it's fire. Just be careful with this because Aries craves excitement, but independence more than anything. So it might start, it might start like fiery excitement, but it might fizzle out when Venus retrogrades because when planets retrograde, sometimes things get reversed. You know, you may have problems during the retrograde, and if it's not meant to be, it breaks off there. But if it's meant to be, then when it goes direct again, you surmount those obstacles and go forward. Also, Jupiter has turned direct, and like I mentioned, Jupiter is your 12th house um, of the past and secrets, and your need to be alone. Um, and there's a dual theme to this. So Jupiter entered Gemini last May, and you did start you started getting really busy with an opportunity, but you chose to not disclose it. You were like working hard behind the scenes about it, um, or in secret somehow. But then it stalled, or it was put on the back burner, and that was just because Jupiter turned retrograde, um, and you started reviewing what how much you had accomplished with that. Because Jupiter is the planet of largesse, so it expands everything. Like think of mountain out of a molehill. So when Jupiter brings opportunities, he brings opportunities left and right. So it might have been overwhelming with whatever's going on for you behind the scenes, or regarding maybe spirituality. But again, there was a dual theme to it. So after this review, now that it's turning direct, expect where you left off to pick up again. Plus, a few more opportunities are coming in. And this is good. I mean, Jupiter is a benefic planet. It's always the planet of good luck. Everybody waits for Jupiter to come into a certain house of theirs if they care about money or love or, you know, pregnancy or what have you. Um, so, but with Jupiter, it's use it or lose it kind of deal. Like he'll give you opportunities. They'll come in, and you have to grab it with both hands. And sometimes it might not go on your radar. Um, but if it has anything with to do with like behind the scenes secrets, um, spirituality or faith, that is your clue, and grab it with both hands because it's going to benefit you a whole lot. And then Jupiter will enter your sign, and that's going to be amazing. Cancer. Many people disagree. Many people say, oh, I hate when Jupiter comes into my sign because I get tired because Jupiter is a huge planet. And when it enters somebody's sign, it does make them magnanimous and gets them out there. Everybody wants to be around them. So some people are like, oh, everybody wants a piece of me. The other uh, potentially, sorry, my video cut off. I always forget I only have 30-minute increments to do this. Yeah, the other potential um, negativity might be weight gain. People tend to gain weight during this transit, and I'm saying potential because some people want to gain weight. But if you care about that, just be careful with Jupiter being in your sign. All right. The next major aspect that I will be discussing is yes, this one. So well, first on the 7th, Mercury will conjunct the North Node in Pisces. So if you remember what I spoke about regarding this karmic person or opportunity opening a door for you in your ninth house, um, here there's also some kind of conversation or clue about it because then we have Mercury in Aquarius, semi-square Venus in Aries. Well, that's a standalone aspect, but still there's something here that a conversation or maybe uh, you hear an information, you get a clue. Um, yeah. But the most important aspect on the 7th that I want to discuss is Venus in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Um, so Venus is a serious planet. Pluto is a very serious planet and a very powerful planet. And sextile is a nice aspect. It's harmonious between these two. But with having these very serious planets and powerful, this is very serious. This is like no joke. So something about your career, your reputation, an authority figure, um, and sitting well with something regarding your house of intimacy and joint finances. So if it is not in regards to you and a partner being excited about your career, that's going to like give you maybe a boost in your joint finances. If this is um, a romance here, it it is very serious. Um, if you had any problems with communication too, it starts to smooth out here. But this romance, I don't know if I mentioned the other romance was like intense. Yeah, that was intense. But this is fiery romance and scary romance. Fiery and scary, what a combination! Too much for Cancerians to deal with. They like this smooth romantic types. Um, yeah, this is. Let me see how to explain this. Because there's another concern that I have too. Because it's Pluto, and Pluto does rule the eighth house of the taboo, and because it's Aquarius, and Aquarius is your eighth house of taboo, and Venus in Aries, and there's a whole lot of loving going on. Um, just, I mean, I'm not worried too much. Sorry about the sirens. We'll let it pass. The joys of living in a city. I'm in Chicago, so yeah, the city can be quite noisy. But I'm sorry. Um, so just be careful if you're partnered. This isn't like an affair, or if you're if this person um, is isn't completely like free. And like I said, I Cancers usually don't do things like that. But yay, hey, it's Pluto and it's Venus. This is unresistible. This is like unresistible. It's fiery. It's sexy. It's very, yeah, it's very nice. And it might be just with your partner because you're solid as a rock with a partner or something like that. If it's about a professional maybe opportunity or a business, here it's realized that this benefits. Um, this is a serious benefit for your career. Like I mentioned, maybe it's you or a partner that's going to boost this joint finances deal, or it could have to do with an inheritance or a government benefit. Maybe you're getting like a maybe a grant to start a business. Um, um, if it is, maybe it's a partner that's sort of a business partner that's sort of a firebrand, and you're interviewing them, or you're somehow discussing a business arrangement, and you can see the passion in them, and that they would they would be a major component of making whatever this business is really successful. And um, with your management of finances and their passion, this could be really, really, it can really take off. Because cancers are usually, well, not usually, they're very good with money. I mean, yes, of course, there's some cancers who are maybe going through a tough time with money, but on the whole, Cancer and Taurus, they they always have money. But yeah, the other thing that it could be, I'm trying to think because I'm um, image friends or groups. Hmm. It it can also be maybe a friend because you have sort of pulled away from friends, or maybe a group, or maybe there were like two groups and you pulled away from one group because they were just not jiving. What they were saying or doing or whatever, it was just not jiving with you. So you pulled away from a group or a friend, or maybe even a couple of friends. Um, and but you do have a new group, a new friend. So it might be a new friend or someone from the past that. Oh, here comes the sirens again. My God. And there it goes. I'm so sorry, Cancer. I apologize. I'm like poor and I work, so I can't get it like really, um, whatever. I can't get out of the city. Um, so yeah, it might be a friend that like blows you away with some kind of a compassionate understanding, or you, you knew that they had some kind of they because you're a water sign, so you are very, very intuitive. You can read a person, so it's something of like you knew they had it in them, but you're blown away here because you thought it would never come out. Their passion would never appear, and here there's some kind of a passion display. But it's like a give and take. Um, it's like an exchange of either work for ideas or ideas for work, or analytics and creativity. Something like a scratch my back, I scratch yours. Anyway, it is the Venus transit, so do pay attention. And I'm not surprised that this is a very powerful aspect and an important one, because it will definitely give you a clue of what Neptune and Saturn's journey will be through Aries. So the next important aspect is on the 9th. Well, Mercury catches up with the sun in Aquarius. We call it Mercury Cassini. So here, if you have been waiting for maybe a piece of information that you knew was missing, or maybe you lost an item, it could be revealed here. You could get maybe a clue or text or an email. Um, and this, and if you like, well, this has to do with your eighth house of joint finances and intimacy. Again, government benefits, credits, banks, loans can also be in here. Taxes is also in this mix. Um, it could be one of these things or a combination of them. Inheritance is also huge in the eighth house. And something about friends or a group is what's going on. Maybe something legal. Maybe an attorney is involved. All right, let's move on to the 10th. Mercury in Aquarius will square Uranus and Taurus. Dum da da dum. Um, well, first off, square is a tense aspect. It's a heavy duty aspect, especially when a powerful planet like Uranus is in the mix. So Mercury in Aquarius, again, it's your eighth house, and it's Mercury. Um, so there's discussions, debates, um, maybe arguments, um, and there's something, maybe an abrupt argument reveals something um, shocking. Now, Taurus is your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, um, and it's also the house of your hopes, wishes, and dreams of the future. Um, a second or a third marriage can also happen in the 11th house. Taurus also natally rules the second house of money and income, of value system. So we we can never really predict what Uranus does. It's the planet of shock, surprise, electricity, and yeah, it does things abruptly, shocking, and Taurus is somewhat stubborn. It's known for it taking a long time to make up its mind. It's a little stubborn. Um, but Taurus is also the house of work natally, so it's like that determination, that persistence, to never give up. So something about your friends, groups, and persistence value system um, surprises you somehow because of this information regarding your eighth house. Um, it definitely has to do with freedom, definitely freedom of wanting to do what you want to do. Like for example, as in regards to a job, you want a unique position or a unique job, and you might experience this through someone else personally, maybe a colleague, maybe a boss or your subordinate. But if it's you, there's a sense of wanting freedom to do what you want to do, but you need security. Is what this is screaming at me. um, so but because it's Uranus, this might result in, not necessarily for you, okay, but I'm just going to give you an example. This might result in like an argument with an authority figure or anyone, and you lose a job. Again, I'm not saying that you will. I'm just trying to give you an example. But you lose the job, and then after that, you get the opportunity of a lifetime. But you would have never been able to unless you had lost this job and walked down the street and bumped into this whatever and gotten offered a job. So it's like a blessing in disguise is what I'm trying to say. Again, it might be something completely different for you, but it's one of those deals. Um, it can also be discussions about how the world is changing, or how it's been, like all these new rules that are going about. And because it's Taurus, it might be like, oh well, let's just hide out until until this wind passes. We'll go back to the way it was before. um, yeah, that this is not going to happen. Cancer, if you are wanting to hide out and wait till everything goes back to it, not, it's not going to go back to what it was. It's a new world, and these are the new rules. And it would behoove you, or maybe this friend, to start learning these new rules, start seeing how you fit into this picture, and what your creativity can bring to this play. Um, because after all, it is Aquarius, um, genius of the zodiac. So you might have like these genius revelations. You might get a really, really genius idea about a business. Um, but you have to follow these new rules. It's just saying new way, new rules is what I'm saying. All right, let's move on to where's my. So on the 12th, we do have. I'm just checking to see if I missed anything, and I'm like yawning all day today. Okay, so on the 12th, we do have a full moon in Leo, which opposes the Sun in Aquarius, um, and it squares Uranus and Taurus. Wow, I think I already said it to you. Full moons are endings, Cancer, or a fruition of your past efforts. Um, so, Leo is your second house of job, money, income, and your value system. And it's opposing the Sun in Aquarius, your joint finances. So, naturally, if you're partnered, um, and it doesn't necessarily mean like a personal partnership, it can be a business. or anyone who knows you really well can be a partner. Um, so yeah, there's the security issue. Um, um, so naturally, if you do quit a job or you lose a job, naturally, uh, joint finances is going to take a hit. Um, and it might come in a shocking, abrupt way because, again, it's Uranus and Taurus. Or maybe a friend loses a job and they ask you for a loan because eighth house, like I said, loans, credits. Or you might be because then on the same day, Mercury in Aquarius will semi-sextile the North Node in Pisces. So this is karmic. What's going on here is karmic with this job, with this ending, um, with this surprise about value systems and something maybe taboo or about the past, and the node is involved. So there's something karmic here. So yeah, I think maybe 18, 19 years back, depending. Um, Well, with the semi-sextile, the Mercury in Aquarius, this discussion, because after this full moon, whatever this ending was, whatever this shocking surprise was, and something ended regarding your job, income, or your value system, then you're talking intimately about something about the past. Excuse me, a genius idea because of something of the past, which is sending a good wave to the node in Pisces, so about karma. So maybe here you understand that you are owed this karma, and this new opportunity seems that perfect fit to say yes, it is a blessing in disguise because I'm changing careers. It could work out that way. It could be a whole lot of scenarios, but yeah, I wanted to spend some extra time on that because it's your money houses involved. All right, on the 14th, Mercury will enter Pisces. All right, so a whole lot of emotional discussions and thinking the way you think, the way you process information, and the way you communicate it. And it is in regards to your ninth house of higher education and all that. So but it is Pisces, so it's psychic, it's intuitive, it's dreams. Your dreams will be very vivid here. It's being an empathetic talker, and that's why I said, this Neptune transit for you was actually worked well because you're a water sign and you're very nurturing, you're very sensitive, so you can talk sensitively to someone. It's also being an empathetic listener. Um, But there's a duality of speech here or thinking because it's Pisces. Pisces is the sign of the two fishes. One goes one way, the other one goes the other way. So you might say something but mean something else, or the person you're conversing with might be doing that. There may be exaggeration, um, maybe to be compassionate, confusion in thinking or talking, or misinformation. But we have a catch-all here because Mercury will be doing its first retrograde, first of three retrogrades this year here in Pisces. So it will be going back and forth over these discussions, which makes sense because Mercury is pragmatic, it's practical, it wants clarity because Mercury is transactional. But again, Pisces is. Have you ever tried to catch a fish? It's very slippery. So again, there's this duality of meaning. Um, it reminds me of Justin Bieber's song, "What do you mean? You say you want me to go, but you want me to stay. What do you mean?" Neptune. Actually, Justin Bieber is a Pisces, so that meshes well. So yeah, there's going to be and it's good that there's going to be this retrograde because you can just imagine trying to be pragmatic about a dual um, speech, a dual talk, a nuanced talk, nuanced agreement. There has to be a lot of details that have to be hammered out. Uh, just have plan A, B, C, and D. Okay, with anything regarding higher education, philosophy, people at a distance, or if you're traveling long distance, oh, for God's sakes, please have plan A through D for that, because it's Mercury retrograde, that famous thing. Okay, and on the 15th, we have a couple of nice aspects. Mercury in Pisces will semi-sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Um, So talk discussion regarding your ninth house is sitting well with joint finances or intimacy. And then we have the sun in Aquarius sextiling the North Node in Pisces. Very nice. Something karmic that's of a new opportunity will actually be beneficial to your joint finances or intimacy. And the other one is the moon. So the moon is, it's just feeling, it's not really, but I'll mention it because it's Pisces related. Moon in Pisces opposes the North Node and Neptune in Pisces. Huh, interesting. So there's a feeling, because it's the moon, there's a feeling or like a psychic intuition, like you can maybe almost know what'll happen about this karmic opportunity, um, about the ninth house. So look to the 15th for all that hullabaloo going on. Oh, I have another siren. Jesus. I'm going to stop this video. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so on the 18th, the sun enters Pisces, and the sun is illuminating an ending. And you might say, why an ending? Well, besides, like I said, a precursor to how Neptune will be ending its journey here. Um, it's because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So we go through the whole zodiac to finish up in Pisces. Um, so it's illuminating an ending because we are anticipating a new beginning for when the sun will move into Aries, and Aries, is the sign of spring and new beginnings and new endeavors. So think of this, these few days, this couple of weeks, few weeks that the sun will be in, as in tying up loose ends or like spring cleaning. Okay, we're like spring cleaning because we are preparing for this new beginning in our lives. I mean, it can't be more obvious than that. So yeah, look to those. Now on the 18th as well, Venus in Aries will semi-square Uranus in Taurus. So something about your career, your reputation, and authority figures. There's money to be had here, or love, or some kind of fame, and it cannot go forward without this wrap up, this ending with a friend or a group of friends. And because with the semi square, this is a tough aspect. So it might be a group or a friend that may hurt your career or your reputation. But however, since it is Uranus, it is the planet, like I said, a blessing in disguise. Whatever tragedy, and I'm using that word loosely for lack of a better word, whatever abrupt tragedy or surprise, shocking thing that happens with a friend or a group, it is to your career benefit, to your reputation benefit. Um, so that's how it can translate. And as well on the same day, Mercury in Pisces will semi sextile Venus in Aries. So, yeah, your career and your reputation is to go forward regarding something about the ninth house, a philosophy, higher education, long distance travel, um, whatever you're working on behind the scenes, because you are busy working on something behind the scenes. Um, so, uh, Cancer, what this looks like is that you are shifting jobs or careers or positions, and you're getting into something, a career that is going to be something related to higher education again, maybe publishing, maybe teaching something, maybe something with faith and public speaking or teaching, because it's communication, it's verbal, it's Mercury, um, and there's some kind of a passion involved here. It could be that. If it's regarding a love interest, it might be again somebody who's like a firebrand or a hothead, and they're at a distance or they're foreign, um, somehow. The other thing is uh, Aries, with Aries, love, romance, um, fiery. It can be maybe your child um, has a passion for something regarding higher education, and maybe their friends are holding them back of some sort. Um, if it's not about you, And if it's not about your career, like I mentioned, if it's a love interest, there's something about a distance. Now, also on the 18th, Juno enters Sagittarius. Juno is the sign, it's the asteroid. She was Jupiter's wife, and she's the sign of commitment. And Sagittarius for you is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, daily scheduling, um, your house of chaos and gossip. And Sagittarius also rules foreigners and foreign people. So, yeah, there's something of a commitment that's required for you to, put your shoulder into. How's that saying? I don't know that saying. Okay, I'll skip that saying. But it's about determination, about putting a lot of effort or a schedule, a routine, a ritual into whatever is going on with your career, um, and making this work. But there's a foreign aspect involved, and there's a commitment that's going to be discussed and talked about. Now Juno will retrograde and go forward again. So again, this tells me that there's something really serious about this higher education or foreigner and your career and status. Many of you will be getting married, engaged, and what I see is they're either foreign, or you meet them at school, or where they're at a distance. But there will be some challenges, but nothing that is out of the ordinary. So with your sixth house of routine coming up here, it's going to be just hard work. And naturally, if it's a long distance relationship, um, naturally there's some effort that has to be put in there. Or if it's just mundane, like a different language, you start learning that. But if it's regarding a love interest. All right, on the 20th, Mercury in Pisces will square Jupiter in Gemini. So here, this is Mercury, again, the talk, discussion, agreements. But this is a square. So they're emotionally charged words, communication. Um, Regarding something about your ninth house, and what you're doing behind the scenes. If this is about higher education, it could be that you're just having to study real hard or research something really hard. Or if it is about your psyche, because the 12th house also rules, the psyche, the mind, the past. It might be an internal conflict, critical thinking, um, and that can translate well in regards to school and studying and research. Or if it's this person at a distance, again, you're trying to reconcile it within your psyche. If it is outward between you and somebody else, they're emotionally charged words. Like I said, heavy duty texting. Um, but there is mutual reception here, Cancer. Mercury in Pisces squares Jupiter in Gemini. So Jupiter, again, is the co-ruler of Pisces, and Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So it's in each other's interests for each one to benefit here. Or you can get this because it's a square and it's Jupiter involved. Um, you might get this opportunity that's larger than life, like something like, oh my gosh, um, I never dreamed in 1,000 years this would happen, and it happens. Maybe about a travel or a foreigner. But you're keeping it close to your chest. You don't want to reveal this much. All right. Um, on the 23rd, Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars retrograde in your sign. Very important. So more discussions, more thinking. Uh, but it is regarding ninth house of travel and education, and it's actually um, very beneficial to any kind of heat, urgency, action you want to take about your image, about the way you appear. And you know what? Even social media can be in here somehow because it's Mercury, and Mercury rules Gemini, and Gemini rules social media. So if you're doing any micro teaching on a YouTube channel or a podcast, or you might be researching and getting your information from there. Mercury in Pisces, on the same day, Mercury in Pisces will semi square Pluto in Aquarius. So the thoughts you're having, the discussions you are having here, there is there is a tense discussion or talk uh, regarding your ninth house, and your house of joint finances is not taking it well. It's Pluto, so there's some kind of a fear or control, um, and it's probably most likely about money and a fear of security, um, to take this like out into the world. On the 23rd, Ceres also enters Pisces, which is very good. Ceres is the planet of compromise, and it and she is Pluto's mother-in-law. She brought him down to his knees through compromise, over Persephone. So whatever's not sitting well with your eighth house of joint finances and your ninth house, here Ceres starts the conversation about a compromise. And then, yay, hooray! Oh my God, let's say it with me, Cancer, especially for you. Hallelujah. Mars will station direct in your sign. Oh my God, you don't understand. Everybody has been waiting for this, not only you, because, like, of course, Cancer is a different area of our lives, but for you, it's your first house of image, self, your profile, um, how you are seen, your physical self, and a lot more. But it's your first house of image. So you had some kind of heat urgency uh, regarding this back starting in September. Um, Cancer also rules the home and family, and especially the mother. Um, So yeah, there's been talk and discussion going back and forth, agreements and disagreements, and trying to hammer something out regarding your image, regarding how you appear and are seen, and you've had to retrace a lot of steps because there was something about family involved, your career, and this ninth house was all in the mix. um, well, first of all, pay attention to these few days because I always say when a planet stations, either to go retrograde or direct, it is really important. The veil is lifted. You like sneak a peek of what's going on. Um, but yes, now you have the full story, um, and and now you can move forward. There will be no obstacles regarding your appearance or a family situation, um, who had maybe an issue about your appearance. And this whole day translates in some really serious discussions, and they may start out tense and sensitive, or it may have to do with like the day before's discussions that I said were tense, um, or on the 20th rather, a few days before. That you may think, oh, I should have said this too. So you say another 2 cents worth of how you feel, um, and it leads to Mars stationing direct. And from here on forward, Mars, and I'm doing this for all signs. Mars says, listen, okay, that is enough of all this talking and feeling and mushiness. I've had it with you people, with you emotional people, because Mars is the god of war. Mars is the god of war. I'm laughing only because I can just imagine Mars like with everybody crying like a baby around him, and all he wants to do is just go forward and get things done. It's like I don't have time for these people crying. So yeah, he's like, I've had it with these mushy feelings. I have the full story. I get it. Now it's time for war. Uh, yeah, can't get over this. But that's what it is. Is now you have the full story, and Mars. What Mars does, its purpose is to just go forward, but with urgency. He's practical like that. So Mars will ask you, "What do you want?" And you'll say, "I want that." And he's like, "All right, let's go get it." He doesn't care who's in front of him. He is absolutely fearless. He rules hot-headed Aries. That should tell you a lot. Um, but yeah, he rules Aries, and Aries is the first house, and it is all about image. So so now it's pedal to the metal. Whatever you're deciding on your image and your physical appearance, just be careful because Venus, like I said, mentioned, it will do a retrograde. Um, and Venus is about beauty and all that good stuff. So when she reverses, just don't make any permanent physical changes yet. Um, because you might hate it when Venus retrogrades. I mean, she's not going to retrograde in your first house, but it's like I mentioned in the beginning. All this, it's the overarching theme. I only say these small aspects to give you more relatable things to your own situation. Um, but yeah, look to that. Now on the 25th, Mercury will conjunct Saturn in Pisces. It's like we just finished with this war of words. Now party pooper planet comes in. Conjunct, yes, it's a heavy duty aspect, and especially Saturn. Saturn is like, um, I shouldn't badmouth Saturn. He'll get me back. Wait, I'm coming up to. Oh no, I still have 10 minutes on that. So there is some very serious talk here, a very serious discussion. So that's why I shouldn't badmouth Saturn. Um, is Saturn is trying to build a really solid foundation um, in regards to your ninth house of education and foreigners and publishing and all that good stuff. Um, because whatever you're yearning for here, whatever you're um, dreaming about here, Saturn is trying to crystallize that into the physical world. But with that comes rules and- on how you can manifest it. That's what Saturn is about. And that's why you've been having these obstacles, these restrictions, um, constraints regarding something about the ninth house ever since 2023. Um, so some people here will be dissuaded because of, again, Saturn being restrictive. So you're trying to convince Saturn here about something. And when I'm saying you're trying to convince Saturn, these planets manifest in people that have authority over us, that restrict us. So you're having a really serious conversation, trying to make this person or this group understand uh, the compassion in whatever this ninth house is. And Saturn is still, being restrictive. He's still saying it's a no show. And some people here will give up. They will be like, okay, whatever. this is this is it's, and there's spirituality here, so it might be like, it's God's will. It was not meant to be. So fine, I give up. Whatever. Um, and if you've ever been in a situation where you worked really hard at something and it just wouldn't work, it wouldn't unravel, and the minute you give up, something magical happens. Everything is okay. You get it. You get what you were working so hard on. So this day can translate into something like that energy of acceptance, of compassionately understanding and accepting, and then you get a healing kind of thing with this. Um, the lesson is learned, and Saturn releases those restrictions because you finally understand here. He may release these. Uh, because you are humbled here to say, okay, it's God's will. It's not meant to be. I get it. I'm going against the grain, and it shouldn't be that way. And why I'm doing it is because I had this fear, and, and this fear of a pain, and it's fine. I can. It's not so painful. I can take it. I'll do better next time. Something like that. Because a little known secret about Pisces is they fear pain the most. They do not want to escape it. They do not want to feel pain, so they escape pain. That's the whole thing with Neptune and being numb. With a swimming pool, you dip your foot in and it's freezing, but once you just completely dip yourself in, you're numb to the cold. You don't feel it anymore. Um, that's the whole thing. Is Pisces really fears pain. It does not want to feel pain. It runs away from pain. Um, but if you don't fear pain and you accept it, like you own it, um, yeah, because we have to experience pain to have compassion. um, we have to accept that it's okay to, even if we feel this pain now, and it builds this compassion in us so that the cycle is broken, because then we won't use that pain against others, because we'll know how it felt if we just own the pain and be okay to hurting again, because you have this compassion to fall on. So it's very, very, very nuanced, and it's very, yeah, confusing, and it takes a lot of psyche and philosophy to understand all this. And you, Cancer, that's why you hosted Mars in your sign, and all this stuff is going on with you, is because um, is because this is all going on, and there's family involved, your career is involved, your status, reputation, friends. It's a really important sign, and it's a really important lesson. And if I can impart anything about this prelude of Neptune's journey, Neptune's ending, is that, do not escape the pain, do not fear it, understand where it came from, and um, and yeah, just look for 20 degrees in your chart. But that this is a very important day to pay attention to, Now, on the 27th, we have a new moon in Pisces. And again, this is a new opportunity for an ending, like I mentioned with the sun. A new opportunity for an ending, a compassionate opportunity to end something here as we anticipate a very new and hopeful and fiery new beginning with Aries, with your career and status. So something is going to be ending here. This new moon will be a total lunar eclipse in about 6 months' time. I think 6 months. Total lunar, yeah, something like that. But I'll be discussing that in another forecast, which will have that in there. But this is the beginning of the end here, Cancer. Exactly like the last new moon in Aries last April um, resulted in the total lunar crazy eclipse in October. Um, so that new moon in Aries last April heralded um, the ending, the beginning of the end. And for you, Aries is your 10th house of career, status, and reputation. So something did end back in October. Something was eclipsed out of your life regarding your career, reputation, and status. Um, and but this is different. This is a different area of your life. Pisces is your ninth house, and this is the beginning of the end here with the new moon. Um, on the same day, Mercury in Pisces will sextile Uranus in Taurus. So, Uranus, Taurus again is your 11th house of friends and groups. Um, and with this anticipation of an ending and whatever the discussions is about, is sitting really well with friends or groups. So, yeah, you could be like, um, if it's, well, you're discussing a new opportunity to end whatever is not working in your ninth house, and that is sitting well with the planet of shock and surprise, the genius planet, um, um, Uranus, in your friendship and group house, something about your value system, something about a career change, a job change. It's an emotional communication. It's a dreamy thought that will find the genius planet, Uranus, finding a genius resolution, because we also have Ceres all up in here as well. So yeah, it'll be like, okay, well, I'm not happy. Like a mundane example, like I'm not happy, you're not happy, like this doesn't make sense. Okay, let's, if we can't do it, sorry, I keep missing the timeline for when the video shuts off. Yeah, so um, I'm not, for example, a mundane example, I'm not saying it's exactly this, but it's like I'm not happy, you're not happy, but we still want the same thing. All right, how can we make this work? And there's this genius idea that comes up through compromise that says, okay, we can actually end it like this. Um, I mean, like I'm saying, it's not about, this may not be about you, but it can be like, um, let's say it's, oh, forget it, because I don't want you to have, I don't want to instill an imagery or a thought that might confuse you, but it basically it's something like that. Um, like it doesn't have to be this way, but yes, this needs to end. But there's a dual option. There's another option. It doesn't have to be just a negative option. Uh, and that's whatever agree compromise, whatever you agree upon, that's the compromise there. And this, I think that's this the movie trailer, the sneak peek, the clue to the ending of Neptune in Pisces. There is a dual option. It doesn't have to be escaping um, to avoid this painful ending. We can own it, and there's a dual option. There's a less severe choice, because at the end of the year, Neptune and Saturn will come back into Pisces, and I don't want anybody like freaking out and saying, "Oh no, we're not going to go back to the old." You're not going back to the old. It will be a brand new, completely different world. You'll be a different person. But in order to go forward, we have to understand the past, and we have to pay homage to the past. We have to tie up loose ends, because that'll be the baggage we carry into the new if we don't tie up the endings, the loose ends. So there is this final hurrah, this complete under everything comes together. It's like everything, like the ethereal, the physical, family, because there'll be resolutions, will be reconcilements, there will be uh, some way to go forward, and it's not as cut and dry. It's dual, it's nuanced, but it's very, very healing if we embrace the pain, and we have compassion, because Pisces is all about compassion, and of course spirituality and faith, having faith in God and the universe. And then there's a cathartic. It's cathartic because it's huge. That's why I'm saying, it's. I think the most important transit this year is Neptune, and with this Pisces weather, which you can understand very well because you're a fellow water sign. And yeah, we need to release the past. It'll be nostalgic, this ending at the end of the year. Um, I've been saying my own personal thing to every sign. My mother, God rest her soul, I used to be like, one time I'd be angry and I hate my life. I hate this. I hate that. And she would just like laugh like that. And I'd be like, why are you laughing at my pain? And she said, no, I'm just laughing because you'll, in the future, you'll think back to this point of your life, and you will actually be like longing to come back to where you were. You'll be like, oh my God, those were those were the good old days. I miss my mom a lot. Yeah, so there's this huge beautiful ending at the end of the year, and it's just we're looking back in the rear view, and it's nostalgic. It's very cathartic. All right, Cancer, I will talk to you soon.